Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game here. Welcome back to England Exchange, where we're gonna try and get this asshole's worst ending. See what that entails for us, because woo, it's gonna be wild, I'm sure. And now I get to pick all the options I didn't want to pick the first time. So let's start with thank you. That's sweet that you want to protect a cute girl. He smiled at me.
We Americans gotta stick together, don't we? All these people have accents. It's enough to make someone mad. Mad as a hatter. It's nothing we can't handle together, though.
I agree. He really did have dreamy eyes.
By the way, how's the drink?
I glanced at the cup in my hands. I was so busy talking with Brendon that I forgot to even drink any. I quickly took a sip. Ugh! It's really strong.
Is that bad? Sorry, I told you I'm not very good at this.
Maybe it's supposed to taste this way. Well, I don't know. I'm not an experienced drinker after all.
You're sweet.
It wasn't such a bad thing if a cute guy wanted to get me a little bit drunk, was it? He glanced past me, then flipped the cloth over his shoulder.
Looks like I've got some customers to serve. I guess I'll see you around.
I'm sure you will. We lived in the same building, after all. Okay, we actually are back to normal stuff, so let's skip ahead, shall we? Nope. Sorry, Ashley. I got taken in a little bit by you being so nice to me in the last ending that I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you, girl. Maybe next time. And no one. I'm not even helping Aussie. Whatever. I am curious if I attack her this time around, if Brendon will do anything. Maybe not. Alright, and now this time. I'm sure you mean well. He beamed at me.
I knew you'd understand me. I mean, if you're dating someone, it means you like them. Why would I want someone I was dating to be unhappy with me? Why would I say something just to make them sad? And if they asked me a question, I'd assume they respected me and my opinion enough to want the real answer. It doesn't seem that hard. I just wish they understood me better.
He seemed sad for a moment, but then looked at me.
But you understand me.
A thoughtful look crossed his face. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I should get back to work.
Okay. And on that note, we will make you do this yourself, Angie. And, sorry, Jihyo. You gotta wait a couple more times before we do that. I won't pry, Danny. It's okay. Alright, we still have to say I'd love to go. Oh. There was an option there last time where we could walk out. Is it because we bought so much into his nonsense that we didn't even have, like, the thought to walk out of that date? Interesting. Okay, well, this is already different. In for a penny, in for a pound, cause we're in England, right? I don't mind paying.
What? No, that's not right. You shouldn't have to do that.
Really, I don't mind. I mean, I can't spring for anything super fancy. I can't rent us a sports car or anything, but I can do dinner or a movie. I want to spend more time with you. And if I have the extra money and you don't, it just makes sense.
Huh. Well, I can't argue with that.
Okay. So that played out a little bit differently. Do. Alright, we'll hang out with Aussie and Brendon again. Because that always goes well. Then, barf. Alright. And this time around, I get to say, this isn't the real you. I know you care about me. You can't push me away like this.
Push you away? What? You're absolutely delusional, aren't you? I just told you I don't care about you.
I shrugged, my chin set.
I'm literally telling you these things with my mouth. I am 100% speaking these words. I don't love you. I don't even like you. You're nothing to me.
Stop lying! You can't pretend everything that happened between us doesn't matter. Pushing me away isn't going to make this any easier.
I really can't deal with this. Look, Malia, it was fun, but that's all it was.
He stood and brushed past me, not giving me another look. I gritted my teeth. This was wrong. This was completely wrong. I whirled around. I'm not giving up on you! Brendon paused by the doorway and glanced over his shoulder at me. Then he left. Wow, she just went full ham on, like, completely in denial. Stunned, my feet shuffling along like a zombie, I went back to my room. What was I going to do now? I think I preferred it when Ashley tucked us in. Things are going great, guys. Really. I promise. Okay, I need to know. Oh, didn't do anything. Okay, so we dealt with James. The next person on my list to deal with was my boyfriend? I didn't understand what was going on with Brendon and me, but I wasn't about to let it rest until I did. I knew he cared about me. I just had to remind him of that. Somehow. I went upstairs and knocked on his door. Brendon?
What? You again?
Hear me out. Or rather, don't. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fight or try to prove anything. I just want to go back to having fun together. Okay? So, let's go out. To the movies. My treat. He shook his head slightly, and for a moment I thought he would refuse, but free movie.
I guess I can't say no to that. You know, this isn't going to change the way I feel about you.
I paused at the ticket counter and looked up at Brendon.
I'm not suddenly gonna fall for you. You don't need to do this.
I paid for the tickets and handed his to him, a small thrill of joy shooting through my chest. So you say, but that's probably one of the nicer things you've ever said to me. I'm getting to you, aren't I?
You have really watched too many rom-coms. Wait, is that what we're seeing? I wanted to see Godzilla vs. Robotyrannosaurus Rex.
I'm paying, I pick.
God, there's almost no point to me coming.
I laced my fingers into his and raised my eyebrows. Man, she is really, like, determined to make this guy fall for her. Malia, stop. Stop, this is a lost cause. I wouldn't say that. I think it's very important to have you come.
Oh. Well, if I get a reward for being good, I won't mind.
I really enjoyed the movie, but I think Brendon fell asleep halfway through. Really? After all of that? Holy cow, I was not expecting this from Malia, ever. I mean, this is supposed to be the worst ending, but still, girl. Ugh. I shut the door, and by the time I turned around, Brendon had already taken off his clothes. Dang.
Well, I was a good boy, wasn't I?
He took off my clothes and grinned. Yeah, I guess you were.
This ain't so bad. A guy could get used to this.
I smiled at him, joy singing in my heart, and he shook his head.
Not like that. You really are gullible.
Shut up and kiss me, please. We had a nice night. At least I thought we did. Okay, well, that happened, I guess. I wonder what else is gonna happen in this bad ending. How much further is this gonna go? Well, let's skip ahead and... oh, new scene. That night, Brendon showed up at my door.
I really don't get why you're still up for this. But I guess as long as you know how I feel, there ain't no reason for me to stop.
He kissed me and pulled me to my bed. I mean, he ain't wrong. And so another night passed. I mean, she's up for it. You guys can do your thing, it's fine. Okay, another date?
Hot damn, you picked a good restaurant.
I remember how much you said you liked steaks, so...
It's free food, so I'm not gonna turn it down.
I nodded happily. He was so silly, always coding his feelings in these blanket statements, like he was too afraid to say how he really felt. His actions were much clearer than his words had ever been. He was with me, no matter what. Okay. He chewed his steak thoughtfully, looking at me.
Sometimes I don't understand how you exist as a person.
What do you mean?
Well, you're so... relentlessly positive in the face of general crap. I thought Ashley was weird that way, but you take it even further. It's almost delusional if you ask me.
You know what? I actually agree with this statement from Brendon. I never thought I'd say that. But Malia should not exist as a person. Her positivity knows no boundaries. Is that a bad thing? He took a sip of his drink, letting me wait a bit before he answered.
Does it matter?
Kind of?
The better question is, what would make it a bad thing? If I thought it was bad, would it be bad? What if you thought it was bad and I didn't? Or the other way around?
I think it was bad if you thought it was bad. He shook his head.
There's no point in having this conversation. Just eat your food.
I paid the bill at the end of the meal, feeling somewhat satisfied. The fastest way to a man's heart was through his stomach, after all. I knew he would never leave me, not when I treated him so well. I needed that. I needed something to rely on, and everything else in my life had gone so wrong. Delusions. Delusions. Delusions everywhere. There was a more direct way to keep him by my side, of course. Would you like to stay the night? Brendon raised an eyebrow.
If you say so, sugar. I'm not gonna argue with you. Come here.
He gently pulled off my clothes and I took off his.
As delusional as I think you are, you must have a pretty strong spirit to stick to your guns as much as you have. It's almost impressive.
He admired me. My joy must have shown on my face because he held up a hand. Poor Brendon, every time he's like, no, I don't like you like that.
Not like that. Ugh, whatever.
And so we spent another night together. I can't wait to see how this ends. This is just the most ridiculous thing ever. That day, I found myself suddenly struck with the desire to bake Brendon something. I dug through the kitchen cupboards and, using what few ingredients were left after months of wayward cooking, made a pan of delicious fudge brownies. Ah. It smelled absolutely heavenly and reminded me of home, my family, and my first date with Brendon. I felt a painful tug in my stomach but brushed it off. I had to give them to Brendon. I was sure he'd absolutely love them. And then maybe he would say that he loved not being around me because I'm crazy. I'm on like borderline yandere levels of obsessiveness with this guy. I sliced up the brownies and put them on a plate, then carried them slowly but surely to Brendon's room. I just realized she cooked for Brendon but wouldn't cook for Angie. That's too bad. Finally, I reached his door and was just about to knock when an oddly familiar thudding made me hesitate. Oh, Aussie, please be in there. It reminded me of the sound of the bed frame thudding against the wall. But that couldn't be. I put my ear to the door, heart thumping so hard I almost couldn't hear over it. Brendon's deep voice was rumbling, and some higher-pitched one answered. Whoever it was, they started giggling. Worried, I balanced the plate carefully on an elbow and knocked on the door. The voices stopped and only silence met me. Brendon? I knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing, not even the sound of movement. Horror filled my stomach, but I brushed it off. After all, Brendon and I were in love, and I trusted him. He was probably just getting help moving furniture. Brendon, I know you're in there. I just heard you. Come on, I've got a present for you. Another pause. Brendon? Finally, the door flew open and before me stood Brendon in his underwear.
What do you want?
I brought you... Ah, there's my girl. I glanced past him and saw Aussie in his bed, covering herself up with a blanket. Until she saw it was me. Then she let it drop with a roll of her eyes. What's going on here? He leaned against the doorway, an exasperated look on his face.
What does it look like? Aussie and I are screwing. Again. Now what do you want? You interrupted me right at the good part, you know.
But you're sleeping with me. You're my boyfriend. I don't understand.
I told you! You are absolutely delusional. I don't love you. I never did. I don't know what else I can do to put it through your thick skull.
But I did everything right. I was the perfect girlfriend. I never got mad at you. I made you food. I had lots of sex with you. You don't have any reason to...
Look, it was fun for a while, and it was kind of entertaining how blindly devoted you were, but this is really getting creepy. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want any part of this. Will you leave me alone, please?
But Brendon, I love you.
Why? Oh God, just give me those.
He swiped the brownie plate from my arm and set it on the floor just inside his room.
Good, good. You gave me what you wanted to, now go.
Tears filled my eyes. I tried to mumble something in return, but it came out more like a strangled sob. I mean, I don't know how much more direct you can get.
It's over, understand? I'm not even sleeping with you anymore. This has gone way too weird. God, what is it coming to when I refuse sex on tap from a chick because she's too damn desperate for it? I mean, desperation isn't attractive, but who would have thought?
He shook his head. Hey, girl.
Brendon, get your ass back in here! Oh, right. Are we done? Good. Nice seeing you, Malia. Let's never do it again.
He slammed the door in my face. I stood frozen in the hallway, processing what just happened. Man, that was like a novella. That was insane. Oh God. Aussie, why? Now you're just hamming it up.
Oh, Brendon.
Moans leaked through the door and I covered my mouth with my hand, sick to my stomach. You know she's hamming it. Sheesh. I ran into my room and slammed the door, trying to think. Why? Brendon's question ran through my head, and suddenly I found myself searching for the answer. Why? Why did I think I loved him? He wasn't particularly nice or intelligent. We didn't have many interests in common. Sure, he was attractive, but that couldn't have been all of it. I picked apart my memories, trying to look for some moment that I really fell for him. Something that showed me what a great guy he was and proved he was the one for me. But after those first few interactions... After we had sex, he completely changed. He never loved me. He used me. He didn't even bother to lie about it. He wasn't interested in me at all. Why was I so determined to make him love me? I slumped to the floor, tears filling my vision. They dribbled down my face, and I tried wiping them away, desperately wanting not to lose control. But a hiccup escaped me, and became a sob, and before I knew it, I'd absolutely lost it, weeping into my hands, snot dribbling down my chin. There was never any reason for me to love him. There was nothing there at all. Why was I such a slave to his encouragement? I basically prostituted myself, trying to get his attention, and for what? What would I have gotten if he had been in love with me? A boyfriend, that's all. I felt disgusted, but no longer with Brendon. I was disgusted with myself. How could I have let this happen to me? How could I have done this to myself? Why would I have made this so important to me? So important that I blatantly disrespected myself just to try to get some scrap of affection out of him. What was even the point of love if this is what it did to people? Questions swirled and spiraled in my mind, mixing together until they didn't even form coherent sentences. Finally, they merged into a dull roar and I rested my head on my knees. My heart finally shattered. But the thing was, it wasn't Brendon that did it. I broke my own heart because I betrayed myself. Oh, Malia. Why? I didn't want to be here anymore. I just wanted to go home. I glanced at the calendar, really flooding my heart. Only a few weeks left. I just had to pull through and then I'd be safe again. Only a few weeks left. Oh. The last few weeks of my trip passed by, slow as molasses in January. I kept to myself. I didn't want to see anyone. What would have been the point? At last, the day of my flight back to America arrived. I didn't feel much like talking to anyone, much less saying goodbye. I packed my clothes quickly the night before my flight left and hoped to high heavens I wouldn't run into anybody on my way out. My prayers were almost granted. Only one person saw me. Of course. He smirked at me, then gestured to the stairs with a grand flourish.
After you, my love.
Tears filled my eyes, but I didn't have the energy to say anything to him. Would it have been better if I yelled at him? Cried? Did something to defend myself to show that I wasn't just a doormat? These thoughts filled my head as I grabbed a cab and threw my suitcase into the back. But what would have been the point? What was the point of anything? I watched the streets of London fall away behind me, a sickness in my heart. I didn't ever want to come back to this country. It was a mistake to have come here in the first place. Oh no. Well, I think it's safe to say we probably got that worst ending, because, Malia's not doing too great. Yee. The flight home was long and painful, a baby in front and behind me each screaming their heads off. I found myself glaring more at the parents of the kids than the babies themselves. Whatever love they had wouldn't last, and it was stupid of them to have dragged children into it. When Nene picked me up at the airport, she pulled me into a big hug. Malia! Jeez, what's wrong with you? You seem like a completely different person. Yeah, well, sometimes the world does that to you. Yeesh! What happened? Last I heard you had made up with your hot surfer boyfriend. I thought everything was going great. I gave her a look, cold as frozen metal. I don't want to talk about it. She searched my eyes and held her hands up in surrender. Okay, I give up. I'm sorry. don't really know what I did, but I'm sorry. The world is stupid. Her eyes widened, then she looked at me with pity. I avoided her eyes. You guys broke up, did you? Don't worry about it. You'll get over him eventually. The first love and loss is the hardest. It'll be much easier from here on out. She clapped me on the back and I let her smile and walk away as if the problem was entirely solved. To her, it probably was, but I completely disagreed with her. If there were people in this world as cruel as Aussie and Brendon, there wasn't any point in trying anymore. Woof. I was waiting for Jinsu to show up and just be like, I told you you should have dated a lady. I was just waiting and then, oh my god, Jinsu wasn't here. Couldn't gloat. Wow. Malia completely broke as a person. Yow. So... Considering how that went... Eh? Yep. Nailed it. Oof. That was a big oofer. Well, I'm sure it'll come as no surprise that Brendon's at the bottom of my list right now, but I am surprised that I actually agreed with some of his reactions to what Malia's behavior was like, so unexpected. And I also found out that him and Aussie were kind of a thing, I guess, as far as they can be. I mean, they seem pretty happy by the arrangement, so yay, Brendon and Aussie, I guess. But we're done. Let's cleanse our palate. Go back to Hakuoki and date the only human boy we got, Mr. Sanosuke Harada. I'm looking forward to his route. It's gonna be weird not giving our blood to somebody for a change, but I'm okay with it. I'm sad because that probably means we won't have anything to add to our kink list, but maybe there'll be a surprise in store for us. Who knows? Let's find out together, shall we? Alright, thanks again for watching, guys, and until next time, I will see you later.